shit from the
You're going to hate me because I come to your town and we beat your team.
You're now tuned in to one of the realest sports podcasts for Kentucky basketball.
3 in the air, good again!
And football.
The Kentucky defense steps up again.
Just an opinionated Kentucky sports fan podcast.
Maybe that's a Kentucky accent.
With Jay Hayes and JD Hall. This is what we do.
Let's go!
Religiously Kentucky.
Big Blue Nation, what is up? I'm your guy Jay Hayes, and he is
once again his voice of reason, JD Hall.
And we are Religiously Kentucky. What is going on? The college basketball world is, well, not the whole world, but
hold on before we get into that. Happy birthday to the man Jay Hayes.
Appreciate it.
The big 4-6 today.
Yeah, just another day. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You only celebrate birthdays when you're young. When
you start getting old, they don't. I mean,
yeah,
until you start hitting those milestone birthdays again, like 50, 60. You know.
Yeah, the ones 40, you don't want to. The ones you really don't want to hit and talk about.
46 and 44 for my next one. They aren't really that important, but
right.
Happy birthday again.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Everyone that gave me birthday wishes. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I saw it on Twitter, but I figured I'd wait till we start doing this.
Right.
So you could see me say it. So
I appreciate it. Appreciate it. But the college basketball world, hands being thrown.
Yeah.
I mean, and we'll talk about it because I got the soundbite, of course. So I want to play this soundbite because the commentary was funny to me. Like, what?
Right.
So check this out.
77-63. And Juwan Howard not going over immediately to shake hands. Now he's going to get in the line. Interesting finish here. 77. Oh, see, and they're going at it. Oh, yeah. Howard and Guard are not happy right now as the two of them continue to have words. We told you Juwan Howard was not happy about that timeout. And Juwan Howard just threw a right hand. And now we got a scrum. We have a scrum in Madison. Players are pushing and shoving. This is an ugly scene. This is an ugly scene.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. We have a scrum.
Nothing he said in that was wrong. It was, just a mass of bodies.
Right.
It certainly was not a good look for Wisconsin and Michigan, and a bad way to end that game. Like I understand, being upset with a timeout.
Right.
I listened to Greg Gard's explanation. I didn't watch the end of the game. I was at work, so I didn't see it. But apparently he had his walk-ons in and they were about to get a 10-second call. So he called timeout. Right. Okay, fine. You don't want your guys turning the ball over. Call timeout, reset, whatever,
Right.
Why that would upset Juwan Howard so much when you're down 13 or 14 points,
15,
whatever it was.
I think it was.
15, at that time, yeah. I mean, what does it matter? There was 4 seconds left. Like you weren't coming back. So
don't be down 15.
Right. So he doesn't want his guys to get knocked with a turnover. Okay, I get it. So I understand why Guard would take the timeout if that's what was happening. Like I said, I did not see the end of the game, so I don't know 100% for sure. But that's what his explanation sounded like to me. The second thing is, don't grab Juwan Howard.
Right. And that's where I'm at with this.
So I'm not excusing what Juwan Howard did. Both of those guys were wrong. But let's also not get it twisted. This isn't the first time Juwan Howard's acted like a fool after a game or during a game, because he did the same thing last year with Mark Turgeon. So he tried to go after him during the game. His assistants were holding him back. So this is the second or third time this kind of shit's happened with Juwan Howard. When it consistently keeps happening with one guy, you got to start thinking, okay, there's an issue here with this dude. He needs, I understand you don't want Guard grabbing you, but once he was done, once you walk away, be the bigger person.
Guard should have known, though. He's a loose
but
cannon.
let guard be the guy that's going to get reprimanded for grabbing Juwan Howard after the game.
Right.
So, but now instead of guard being the guy that's getting tossed and getting run after the game and getting killed on Twitter, it's flipped and it's Juwan Howard because he made the situation worse by the way that he reacted.
I was mad that he didn't get a clean shot.
Well, he didn't even go after guard. I mean, that's the thing.
I know.
Like the cops pulled guard away. There was like assistants and everything were pulling him back. So he was out of the picture. And now Juwan goes after an assistant coach and smacks him upside the head.
Right.
Like
you gotta watch what you say.
You're 6 feet away from that dude.
In any profession, whatever, you got to watch your mouth, regardless.
And I get
there's
like
consequences to it. The guy slapping has
there are consequences,
and the guy getting slapped. Now you know.
But who's gonna get hit hardest?
Right.
It's not gonna be.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be Greg Gard. It's not gonna be that assistant coach that was talking stuff to Juwan Howard. It's gonna be Juwan Howard because he's the one that actually went and got even more physical than just the pause. Hey, let me talk to you. Grab the arm that Gard gave him.
And I'm sure he knows there's that consequence that comes with that.
And to be honest, like, I really wouldn't be all that surprised if Michigan was like, you know what, this is not the first time this has happened. Like, you need to step away and really contemplate whether or not you can be a head coach at this level. Because that's not something that you want your head coach doing, no matter what happened before that.
Right. Because I think his resume, what he's done at Michigan, might override that. Because he's done a lot of good in his short time there. Now he had the issue before, and now this.
That's what I'm saying. It's become a pattern,
right?
For him
once you
do this kind of
pattern, then you're a loose cannon, and you might need to.
And this is obviously the worst of the incidents that's happened with Juwan Howard, and couple that with, the mediocre play on the court this year.
Right.
Like, you don't have the excuse of COVID.
Right.
Like you brought in
I'm for it.
You brought in a pretty good recruiting class.
Right.
You returned probably one of the best big men in the country. And this is the product you're putting out on the floor. So, that ultimately comes back to his ability to be able to coach. Right. Like, I know he has shown some good things the past couple of years, but now you're starting to get into the point where he's got all of his own recruits, all of his own players. And is this what we're going to get from Juwan Howard at Michigan? This type of play and this product as for Michigan fans, which is pretty similar to what you're seeing down there at Memphis with Penny Hardaway.
Right.
Or is it going to be something from the previous 2 years where they played pretty well and, did some things in the tournament last year? I mean, would they go Sweet 16, Elite 8 last year, something like that?
Yeah, Elite 8. Yep.
So, but again, that was COVID year. Like,
yeah, it's a whole big mess.
Right. It's definitely not a good look for either of them, but it's definitely a worse look for Juwan Howard because of the way he let it escalate to the point it got to.
Right. Well, my message would be on this is to watch your mouth, because you will never know from running your mouth when you might get smacked.
Right.
Now, I'm for that. People need to watch their mouths and recognize who you're talking to.
I'm not disagreeing with
a grown man. You don't grab a grown man.
But when there's
consequences, and now Juwan Howard has to.
But when you're a guy in the position that Juwan Howard is in,
no matter what, it doesn't matter.
You need to be the bigger person, because one, it's on national TV. Everybody saw it. It's not something you can hide. It's out there.
Juwan Howard going to be in celebrity fights next.
Two, now you've got to go into recruits' living rooms and have parents asking that question of you. Like, is this the type of person? Is this the type of person you are? So I understand him being upset with the grab. Like, I'm not condoning that. But Juwan Howard let it get out of hand
Right.
with the way that he reacted. So he could have reacted better to what happened. It never should have started. But once it did, he needed to have a better reaction than what he had.
Right.
Than what he had on the floor.
It looked like John Calipari was about to smack a ref.
I honestly, like, I'm surprised he didn't get teed up for that.
Right. I am too.
And like his quote after the game was, something that affected, people say I don't like Pat Adams. Pat Adams is a great guy. He charged at me, or he charged me, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think Cal had a little bit of a gripe, a legitimate gripe. It never should have taken that review. Never should have taken that long.
Right.
Like 30 seconds, you see, okay, he smacks him in the face. Done. Dead ball tee.
Yeah.
And move on. Like, it didn't need to take as long as it took. So
right. Well, let's get into let's go back a bit. Let's go back to Tuesday's game.
Do we have to?
I mean, just briefly. Let's just briefly touch on it and what happened with Kentucky going to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
It was I mean, like, I can't even find a word to say how ugly that was,
But it's like the first couple of minutes, it started out good for Kentucky.
Right.
They're hitting shots, they're playing defense. Like, they got out to what, 10-4 lead or whatever it was. I think the turning point in that first half was when Fulkerson jumped into the bench and you had the double technicals on Harris and Ziegler, where Ziegler pushed Harris. Like, Rob really didn't do anything. He didn't. Like, we were talking about Juwan Howard and needing to de-escalate the situation.
Right.
Harris didn't do anything to de-escalate the situation, but he also didn't do anything to escalate the situation. He was just standing there. He walked up and he stood there. Like, he didn't do anything. He didn't touch a player. He didn't get into a player's face. He just jumped up and he stood there. And, he was flexing. And Ziegler comes in and gave him a forearm and pushed him.
Right.
And, Rob reacted, which, again, going back to how he should have known better.
You gonna learn. You gonna learn today.
He should have known better not to react to that and just let Ziegler be the guy that gets punished for what happened.
Right.
But I think that was kind of the turning point of the first half because it ignited the Tennessee fan base.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing that religiously Kentucky has the voice of reason, JD Hall. Because if it was just me, I would have been condoning violence on this episode instead of thinking things through and overreacting.
Right. But that's why I'm here. That's why you called me. That's why you called me the voice of reason. So
exactly.
I'm not saying I would have reacted differently, but being outside the situation,
right.
I'm able to be like, okay, this is what probably should have happened. But anyway, and I think before that was the, Cal got teed up because of a bullshit foul call on Oscar reaching back for the rebound. And then the Tennessee guy, I don't even remember who it was, grabbed his arm. And because Oscar's so strong and pulled his arm forward, they called a foul on Oscar.
Right.
Like, and Cal absolutely lost his shit. So, I mean, it was a couple things there pretty early that kind of started building
12 minutes.
Right. That started kind of building up the atmosphere and the energy for the fans in the arena. And once they got going, it kind of affected the play on the court for Kentucky.
Yeah.
I think they were pressing a little bit. Obviously, Ty not being 100% hurt because he wasn't able to move as well on defense. He wasn't able to, drive the lane as well. He did have 4 points in the first half, 1 or 2 on threes. But like you said, he only played 12 minutes because a minute into the second half, he goes down. He's out for the rest of the game.
Right.
So him not being healthy absolutely affected the outcome of the game. You also can't go 18 minutes without a field goal and expect to win a game.
Right.
And that goes back to and they missed some really good looks. I think Oscar was like 5 of 15 from the floor. I think there's something like some crazy bad stat, like 8 of 32 at the rim or something like that. Like
Right.
it was crazy
And for the game,
how bad they shot.
Kentucky went 23 of 66 from the field, 34%, 5 of 16 from 3, 31%, and 12 of 14 from the free throw line. So that was
a bright spot for their shooting. But when you go 18 minutes without a field goal, it's hard to win a game.
right.
The flip side to that is Tennessee should have won that game by 25 plus.
Right. Exactly.
When you hold a team to 0 field goals for almost half a game,
right,
and you only win by 13, that tells me a lot about our team and the fight that they had. Yes, they went down 20 in the second half, but they never stopped playing.
I pointed that out midway through the game. Someone was talking about that.
Yeah.
That's why we're getting killed. I was like, getting killed. I mean, we're only down, I think it was 10 or something like that at that point.
Right.
I was like, they should be up by 30. We haven't made a field goal in 10 minutes. Like,
there were 2 turning points in this game. The first half, the double technical, because then Tennessee went on a big run.
Right.
And then in the second half, we're on a 9-0 run to cut it to 8. Severe drives to the basket and gets hammered. Now, the guy didn't go straight up, and he brought his arms down into Severe and knocked him on the ground. They missed the call. It was an obvious foul call. I mean, me sitting on my couch at home, you could see it. You could tell. Then they get the ball, go down to the other end, touch foul, 2 shots, or 1-1 or whatever it was, but they make 2 free throws and it goes back to 10. So from a chance to cut it to a 6-point lead,
right,
and it goes back to 10, that was another turning point because that was the start of a 10-0 run to push the lead back out to 18.
Right.
So there were 2 moments in this game that turned the tide for Tennessee and ultimately led to their win.
Right.
But I was proud with the way the team responded to going down big to never give up. And they had their chances and they had shots to make to get that game to a point where they had a chance. They just couldn't knock down the shots. It wasn't for lack of effort. It wasn't for lack of fight. It wasn't for any of that stuff. I said, I texted you during the game, like the defense needs to step up in the second half if they're going to have a chance to win this game. And it absolutely did, because I think Tennessee shot like 56% from the floor in the first half. They shot like 58% from the floor or from 3 in the first half. And those numbers dropped to like in the 40s, the low to mid 40s in the second half by the end of the game. So your defense in the second half absolutely stepped up and gave you a shot to get back into that game. But ultimately, the missed foul call, which again ignited a run for Tennessee, and the inability for Kentucky to finish at the rim for whatever reason tonight, ultimately led to what we saw at the end of the game in Knoxville.
Yeah. Kentucky dropping a game in Tennessee, 76-63. But I will say Kentucky beat Tennessee by 28. They beat us by 13. And I will also say that I thought Auburn fans were the worst, but Tennessee has them outdone by a lot. Horrible fan base. And we'll get to that at the end of this end of the show. But
the game in Knoxville ultimately really meant nothing other than than bringing them closer to us in the standings in the SEC.
But to them,
but here's the thing: we went into that game number 3 in the Ken Palm standings. We came out of that game number 3 in the Ken Palm standings.
Right.
We went into that game as the last 1 seed or whatever it was, and we dropped 1 spot right after that game down to the top 2 seed. So ultimately, that game, in the grand scheme of things, meant almost nothing. And it really meant nothing to, like, you saw the way Tennessee reacted after the game, going into the stands and going all crazy and acting like they had won the SEC tournament or SEC championship. We say this every time we go to a visiting arena. it's not just another game. You can talk all your shit about it just being another game,
Right.
but it never is.
Never is.
And that's proven by the way these teams react when they do beat Kentucky.
Right.
So,
we're gonna get to
or
those
before the
shitty
game even
fans at the
starts,
end of
the
this.
way they're lining up, or it's T-shirt night, or whatever it is.
Right.
You
Yeah, they-
show us every away game, one way or another, that Kentucky is your Super Bowl. It
Right.
is the game that you are looking at most on the season every time.
Run, go tell that. But yeah, horrible, and we'll get to them. And then we had Alabama come to Rupp Arena.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this game? And
Well,
let me say, no Severe Willer, no Ty Washington. How does Kentucky score 90 points?
right. Grady going 7 for 9 from 3 helps with that.
Pat
But
ball buckets.
but when the stuff started coming out that Kentucky might be down 2 or 3 players, it was like,
Right.
oh man, like if that's actually the case, it's going to be tough.
Because
and then I think-
Alabama is
and then
not
I
a horrible team.
No, and then I think the third guy that was possibly going to be out was Jacob Toppin.
Right.
But not having your 2 starting point guards, because let's be honest, we start 2 point guards.
Yeah.
Not having your 2 primary ball handlers for the entire game, and having to move Mintz and Grady to the 1. You had to be a little like, like if we just keep this within 10 today, like we're doing good. Let's get healthy for March and move on from there. And the way that Alabama came out starting the game, it was like, are they ever going to miss? Because if they would have kept shooting like that, obviously Kentucky's never going to have a chance to win that game.
There's always that one guy.
Right. Keon Ellis
who deserves that standing ovation at Rupp Arena.
Came out and had a career game. But what have we always said about that style of play that Alabama plays? You're going to shoot yourself to big wins. You're going to shoot yourself to big losses. Alabama raced out to a 13-point lead in the first half and went into halftime losing.
Yep.
Because they went cold.
There was a tweet. I gotta share about that. There's a tweet. Some guy, I'm not looking at my phone, but some guy tweeted out, Kentucky is going to lead at the half. And man, people are like, you're crazy. And this.
I can see that.
Yeah. Oh, it was great. It was great. And I retweeted it on the Religious League Kentucky page and said, this is the optimistic tweets that we're here for. It was great. Of course, we were leading, and people were going back. Yeah. Wow. You're right.
Alabama, I think, started off 8 for 11 from 3.
Yeah.
They finished the first half 1 for 11 because they were 9 for 22 in the first half. They started out, shooting just from the floor phenomenally. And then at one point they were like, I think they went 7 for 29.
Yeah.
7 for 27, something like that. From that point when they went up 13, they went 7 for 27. So you're talking, just over 25% shooting from the floor. And, Kentucky built up a 16-point lead in the second half. And I think part of the reason was they came out a little lackadaisical on defense. Not closing out hard, getting mixed up in switches and stuff like that. But once they straightened that out, and I think because I think there was kind of a switch too between Mintz and Grady running the point, there in the first half. You kind of switched it up a little bit and let Grady run the point for a little while, and he got comfortable with the ball in his hand,
right,
and making plays. Because when they started that big run, when they went out to that, what was it, 41-28 lead, I think Grady only had 1 shot. He had made 1 3 at that point. So you kind of switched and put the ball in his hands, and he started making plays, and he started hitting threes.
He got his cookies took a few times.
I think he had 2 turnovers in the game. But the whole team came out kind of struggling on defense to start that game.
Yeah.
But they locked in.
Yeah.
You know, you got that under 8 timeout. You get it down, down to 5 minutes or whatever it was, or 6 minutes, and Cal calls another timeout. And it kind of changed, like the game shifted then. You know, you end the game on a 13-0 run, or in the half on a 13-0 run. I think the total run was like 19-4, 19-5 is what that total run was from the time they went down 13. So, and then you come out in the second half and you build up, you hit a couple shots, you get, a 3-4 point lead, and then Alabama comes back and they take a lead. And then Kentucky comes back, hits another 3, and that was it. That was game over.
Yeah.
From then on, Kentucky led.
Yep.
And like I said, they pushed it out to a 16-point lead. I was seeing the tweets at work about the loudest Rupp has ever been. Like when Grady hit that 3 going into half. My dad was at the game with my nephew, so I was about, like, in the first half, I was about ready to text my dad and say, "You ain't never taking this kid to a game again." He's that bad luck. So, but I'm glad for him that he got to see, his first game. He got to see that kind of a game and that kind of environment.
He's going to remember that forever.
Oh, absolutely. He got his basketball signed by 8 players in Cal. So I don't know what players he got autographs from, but there was 70 players there total probably for him to choose from. So, but anyway, Grady hits that 3 after the ball goes off his ass because he's not looking for the pass.
Yeah.
Like it was just like you see
I was like, damn it, man. That was awesome.
And the bench was the same way. You see Cal's like throwing his hands up, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then, Kareem Watkins and those guys are going nuts at the end of the bench, running around. Like it was, and I will apologize to the BBN because I started out watching the game.
Yeah.
Because I had some time where I could do that. And they go down big. I'm like, fuck. So I stopped watching the game and I go in and start doing, I got stuff I got to do. So I'm, doing my stuff. And then I see the tweet from Kyle Tucker about how loud Rupp is. I'm like, what the hell happened? And I go take a break and I check. I'm like, are you shitting me? They're actually leading. So then I got stuff I've got to go do, and I'm doing the work, and I'm still seeing the updates. The league keeps growing, whatever. And I take another break, and I sit down. I start watching the game again, and it gets to 16, and then it's 15, and then it's 12, and then it's 10, and then it's 7. I'm like, so I stopped watching it again. It was like, I don't know, 4 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go, something like that. And then they pushed it back out to 12. And they ultimately went. So I want to apologize to the BBN for making that game more stressful than it needed to be because I continually kept jumping in on the feed to see what was going on. But it was taking everything into consideration about, Ty and Severe both being out, Toppin still being, a little limited with his ankle, a little sore.
Yeah.
It's probably the best win of the year.
90 points.
To be that efficient on offense, they scored 1.5 points per possession in that game. You had all 5 starters play 36 minutes or more. Jacob Toppin played all 40 minutes. Kelly Grady played 39. Davion Mins, I think, played 39. Keon Brooks played 37. Oscar played 36, I think is what it was. I think that's what it broke down to. Collins came in, for that 4 minutes when Oscar was out, and he put up 6 points in 4 minutes.
Grady played 39.
Yeah.
What was it? What the 1 minute he was putting his contact back in?
No, because they just stopped the game for that.
I know.
But that was the 2 minutes that Dante Allen got. The 1 minute for Grady, the 1 minute for Davion, and the end of his night was leaving Keon Ellis.
Yeah.
Because there was no reason for him to try and do what he was doing off that screen and in that on that defensive possession. You just need to stay with Keon Ellis.
Exactly.
Like, don't turn your back to him so he can move down to the corner.
Yeah.
You needed to be in his face
Yep.
defending him because of the way he started the game. And once he blew that defensive assignment, his night was done.
Yeah. I mean, because
Because
he was hotter than a weed eater in a flea market in Powell County. You know what I'm saying?
It was crazy the way that he started to actually play that entire game, because I think you hit 6 threes.
Yeah.
I think is what it was.
I mean, there's always that guy in Rupp
There's always that guy
from the opposing
that comes
team.
in and does something crazy, for 7 threes. My bad. So between him and Jaden Jack, they were 12-23 from 3. The rest of the team was 2 for 17.
Right.
So
they shot 43s. There's Kentucky fans that want that Nate Oates offense.
no, absolutely not. And this is why. This is absolutely why. It's exciting to watch when you're hitting your threes, but the game can get away from you fast when you start missing those threes.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to Alabama, because they don't do anything else. Period.
Right.
And they want to get layups and they want to shoot threes. That's it. And when you shoot 43s on 69 shots, that's a problem.
Yeah.
But Nate Oates doesn't think it's a problem at all. And a lot of these dumbasses out there watching basketball think that's a great way to play.
Right. And I saw you tweet Kyle Tucker saying, "Don't lump me in with that fan base that was fawning over Nate Oates." And I was like, I've been making fun of this dude for a while now,
for 2 years. No, I don't want. I like the offense that we run.
Right.
The problem with the offense last year wasn't the offense in and of itself.
Yeah.
It was the players you had executing that offense not being able to do it.
Right.
So the offense didn't need burning down. It needed the right players.
Right.
And it needed a little bit of a tweak.
Needed
That's
chemistry. Needed to build chemistry. We had none of that last year.
So I think the 2 games against Alabama this year prove which type of offense is the best way to play.
Right.
I'm
with you 100% on that.
We didn't play great offensively at Alabama.
I will say, though, I'd like to see Grady shoot a little more, though. Threes, preferably. He get to 20 at least.
I don't think Grady needs to take 23s.
No, I'm saying as a team, 20.
You know what? If we take 14 threes, but if we take 14 threes like we did against Alabama, but we hit 9 of them, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to complain about the number of threes. I'm not going to complain about the number of threes we take. But I'm also not the type of guy that wants us forcing up any threes.
Right.
There's probably 2 or 3 more threes every game that Grady could take that he passes up.
Exactly.
He took a lot of those threes in this game because he did in that game a lot of what he had to do at Davidson, where he had to be the guy making the play. So maybe that gives him more confidence to be that guy and be a little bit more selfish. And I know that's not the right word to use.
Right.
But to be a little bit more selfish in the game, to get a couple of more looks, because he does pass up a couple of threes a game that he could take. Because
and that's what I'm saying.
Defenders,
take those.
Yeah, because his defender's a step late or off, whatever.
Right.
I would like to see Grady be running off more screens with the ball in his hand. Force his defender to fight through that screen, or the big to hedge out and defend him, because I think Grady's quick enough to get around that defender. And if he can't get a shot, then you've got a little guy guarding Oscar on a screen.
Right.
Or Toppin or whoever, or
right.
Brooks or whoever on that switch. And we saw in that second half, just exactly what type of athlete that Keon Brooks is. With that lob from Grady where he was looking at the rim.
Yeah. When he went and took a quarter off the backboard.
That was crazy. Seeing, because we've seen Keon do some things on the floor crazy athletic.
Yeah.
Like last year, the dunk that wasn't against Bandy, where he took off from on the floor.
Yeah.
That lob last night, was even at another level because the rim was about at his armpits.
Yeah.
It was crazy how high up he got.
You, he took a quarter off of the backboard.
Top
of the backboard.
He doesn't always show that explosiveness, but it's there.
Yeah.
So if you get him on a screen and roll, even a short roll with Grady, or even Ty or Severe,
throw it up.
Make the defender have to try and get that and throw it as high as you can.
Right.
You throw it to the top of the square, then he's gonna be able to go up with one arm and grab that.
You see it with a lot of rebounds that he gets. If you watch real close, man, he's way up above everyone else.
Right.
And
so
I would say Kentucky beats Alabama 90 to 81 without our guards.
And we didn't even
impressive.
And me and you didn't even talk about Jacob Toppin or Oscar. Oscar had 21 and 14. Jacob Toppin had 13 points, 6 rebounds, I think, 3 assists. It was an all-around great performance from everybody that they needed to have for them to be able to win that game. And they all did everything they needed to do.
Right.
Toppin and Brooks, I think, were 2 for 3 from 3. Of course, Toppin did bank in the one, but
I feel like Toppin's good for a 3 every game. He's good.
Banks are open on Saturday. Banks are open on Saturdays.
That's right.
So
at least till noon.
And the 3 that Keon took, those are the type of 3s I want that dude taking.
Yeah.
That kick out from an offensive rebound, or like I said, the trail guy on a fast break. Those wing 3s. Those are the type of 3s I want Toppin and Brooks taking. The corner 3. I know Brooks is so comfortable taking that one dribble in and pulling up on that shot from the corner.
Mr. Mid-range.
But maybe have one of those be a 3 instead of one dribble to a shot.
Right.
1 or 2 threes a game between those two, and I'm good with it. Toppin showed his ability to be a playmaker, driving the lane, hit a couple of floaters.
Yeah.
He had that baseline drive for the dunk.
He had a lot of energy too, man.
Oh, and that's his thing. And everybody talked about Obi last year. Player of the year, all that stuff. Or not last year, the year before.
Right.
I don't remember. They're all running together. But the longer it goes with Jacob Toppin, the more and more he looks like Obi. He's getting bigger. His frame's filling out. When he came from Rhode Island, he was just a skinny kid, with twigs for arms. It was like Damian Collins. Not quite that bad, but he wasn't as thick across the shoulders as he is now. But now 2 years in at Kentucky, and look what he's doing. Look what he's looking like.
Right.
Imagine this guy next year. It's crazy, and and really he's got 2 years left if he wants to take him, because he's still got that COVID year.
Yeah,
I believe. I may be wrong, but I think he would still have his 5th year because he hasn't redshirted. If that dude is somebody that comes back next year and maybe even the year after that, with NIL, who knows? Who knows what can happen with that stuff going forward.
Senior Oscar Sheboy. Senior Oscar.
But I mean, can you imagine what we've seen in the development of Jacob over the last couple of years? If he's here another 2 years,
oh yeah,
that player we would see as a senior or super senior,
superstar.
It's crazy what that kid could be. So, but like you mentioned, Oscar Sheboy news broke, late this afternoon that he's finally eligible to get NIL deals.
And I think it's because we talked about it last episode. I had my little
It might be.
GoFundMe, Facebook stuff, and set up for Oscar Sheboy, and they saw that, and it was like, you know what? We just, no,
I'll give more of the credit to TJ Beisner and those guys at the University of Kentucky who were behind the scenes really working and pushing it to get this done for Oscar. But it couldn't have happened to a nicer kid to finally be able to get the things that he is capable of getting. Because we all talk
deserving person.
We've all talked about how much money that Shaden Sharp is making off NIL. Like, imagine what Oscar's going to make.
Right.
You know, he's going to be able to take care of his family, which has always been his ultimate goal.
Right.
Without even having to go to the league. Like, it's
when I think of Windex, I think of Oscar Sheboy.
If that's not the first,
boards.
If that's not like one of the first endorsements he gets, somebody's missing the boat. Somebody's dropping the ball.
Yeah.
Because some kind of glass endorsement needs to be his first NIL deal.
Right.
And like, you know, now he definitely doesn't have to leave after this year to go to the NBA to start providing, or to try and go to the NBA to start providing for his family.
He can make that money. He can get a degree.
Exactly. And not only that, he can develop his game even more.
Right.
Because we've seen his issues at time with length.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that he can't score over length, because he's proven that he can. But sometimes early on in games, it gives him a little bit of, he's more cautious.
Yeah.
He's more cautious.
Right.
So he's not as aggressive as he normally is. But he usually settles down throughout the game and then does pretty well. But, you know, that's obviously something he can work on. He can work on, you know, being able to recognize a double team coming sooner and where to go with the ball. But when you're talking about a 6'9" center, the one thing that can really help him be successful in the NBA, because we already know that he's going to go, if he goes to the NBA, he's going to rebound at an elite level.
Yeah.
When he gets that chance.
Yeah.
But if he's able to stretch that mid-range out to 15 to 18 foot to where he's really comfortable, because I don't think he's fully comfortable taking that shot, even though he does take, 2 or 3 of them a game, and he shoots them at a pretty decent clip.
Right.
But as a guy, as a 6'9" center, if he's able to develop that shot and hit it even more consistently, that's also something that's going to help him stick in the league. Because all you have to be able to do to stick in the league, you have to be able to do at least one thing at an elite level. And Oscar already does that one thing at an elite level.
Yeah.
He rebounds the hell out of the ball.
Yeah.
And he works hard. So those two things alone are going to help him get a spot. You start expanding the things that you can do, and it's going to help you stick longer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Chuck Hayes, as a 6'5" power forward, played 6-7 years in the league.
Yeah.
Willie Cauley-Stein, he's not in the league right now, but he came out as a shot blocker, a defensive guy. That was his thing. And he ended up playing, 6-7 years in the league he got before he was finally let go. But you still see him in the gym working his ass off, working on his offensive game to try and get that shot to get back in the league. Because that one elite thing kept him in the league for 6 years.
Yeah.
7 years.
Yeah.
You add something else to that, you add an offensive game to that allows you to stick around a little bit longer.
Facts, bro. Nothing but the facts. Kentucky now 22-5 with that game beating Alabama
and up to number 2 in the Ken Palm.
Yeah. And I've been seeing a lot of 2-seed brackets and all kinds of awesome brackets. And we'll get to that in the next few episodes. We're going to get I guess a lot of bracket talk and
Well, what did you
tournament.
think? What did you think about the first reveal where they slotted Kentucky
I
at
loved it.
number 6?
I liked it.
The only change I would have made,
Oh, you're talking about the CBS one, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
where they did the
Yeah.
top 4 seeds.
Yeah.
I think I think they should have flopped Kentucky and Baylor. I think Kentucky should have been the top 2 seed. Now, am I really complaining about being at 6? No, because that draw we got with Kansas as our 1,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So, but I think we're a stronger 2 seed than Baylor is.
Yeah.
I think Baylor and their quad 1 is what got them right now. Same thing with Kansas. I think they were 9-4, 9-5, or whatever it was in quad 1 games. That's what got them that last 1 seed.
Right.
And I didn't see the bracket reveal because, like I said, I was at work. But apparently the bracket, commissioner or whatever his name is, the committee head, said that Kentucky and Baylor were right there with Kansas for that 4th 1 seed. So if Kentucky just continues to do what they've been doing and take care of their own business, I think they take that 4th 1 seed at the end of the season.
It's
Now,
a
if you drop it,
possibility.
if you drop a game or two, then you're a solid 2 seed.
Yeah.
I don't think Kentucky's falling out of that 2 seed. They're pretty much guaranteed a top 2 seed
Right.
in the NCAA tournament. And then it just becomes on, your draw, what bracket, what region you're in. So I think healthy, there isn't a team in the country that scares me.
Right. And we'll get to some bracket talk because my bracket probably will be right. Most of the time it is, but just kidding. I'm horrible at brackets. But Kentucky
It's
up
usually
next.
the people that watch the most basketball and sports overall are the ones that generally do the worst, it seems.
Yeah, exactly.
And these type of things.
Give a bracket to someone
Oh.
who doesn't watch college basketball and they'll do a
Oh, I
really
just
good.
like that. I like that mascot, so I'm gonna pick them.
Right.
Right.
So up next, LSU Wednesday at late game, 9 p.m. game.
Dude, I hate those 9 p.m.
A
games.
lot of tired people.
Dude,
Thursday.
I'm coming down. I'm coming down to that game. Me and my dad are. So, but we're not staying.
Oh, wow.
So we'll leave the game, midnight, whatever it is. After we'll
Right.
probably go down and listen to the radio. I'm not gonna get home till 4:00 in the freaking morning.
Right.
So I'm gonna be dog tired.
Yeah.
I'm definitely sleeping in Wednesday as late as I can.
That's what Kentucky fans do.
But my dad gets whines and cries a little bit when me and him going down for the game. I don't want to stay. It's you're tired, dude. You get all time in the world to do all this shit that you think you need to do. So anyway, it should be a good game for us to stay up for that night.
Right. Well, speaking of time, you know what time it is. The dumbest shit from Twitter this week. And I told you we would get to these Tennessee fans. Man, horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. Dude, I had so many trolls. Man.
Right. And
it was just like Tennessee fans beat Auburn fans by a lot. Miles. Tennessee
So what do you
fans
got?
are the wackest.
I'm thinking you're going towards that the dude who was trolling you for like an entire day Thursday, right?
Just pick something. I have so many here, I don't even know where to start.
I would say Dawson Rule, but I think he blocked me. Yeah, he blocked me, so I can't see that tweet you sent.
Oh, well, I can see it. Dawson's Rule. Shibwe is an average player at best when someone is height or someone when someone his height or taller is guarding him.
average player or at best that's averaging 16 points a game and 15 rebounds a game. And is a top candidate for National Player of the Year. We've said it before. We've said it again. We'll say it again. Dawson, stay off Twitter.
Please stay off Twitter.
Just concentrate on calling your middle school basketball games and worry about that, because that's your wheelhouse. You can keep those stupid takes about big boy college basketball to yourself.
Yeah. You get a Juwan Howard smack. Let me pull this one up real quick too. This is Dwayne Lawson. Tennessee, the model that UK aspires to be.
Oh, I saw this when it came out. I was like,
A tale as old as
my
time
God.
itself.
Tell me, Jay, do you know any, let's just say college basketball fan, that would trade Kentucky's history for Tennessee's history?
Tennessee fans would.
Well, yeah, of course they would. But I mean,
But no, not
any
no,
sane
absolutely
fan.
not.
8 national titles, 17 Final Fours, most all-time wins, highest all-time win percentage, most SEC tournament wins, most SEC conference championships, regular season. Like the list goes on and on and on.
Tennessee,
the University of Kentucky basketball program is never going to strive to be the University of Tennessee basketball program.
They're the
Flat
model.
out, period.
Tennessee is the model that Kentucky.
You've had a little bit of success lately. Congratulations. You win some regular season basketball games. You gonna start hanging banners for that? You gonna hang a banner for your third place finish? You gonna hang a banner for your third place finish in the SEC this year?
I would not put it past them.
Like, come on,
and they'll brag about it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, of course they will.
Third.
Of course they will. They hang NIT appearance banners.
Yeah,
not NIT championships. Just when they've appeared in the NIT. So, buddy, our programs are not the same.
No,
and they never will be the same.
No. Next,
like we've beaten you twice as many times as you've beaten us. It's a 2-1 advantage in the entire history of the rivalry. Yeah. We're not the same. No. I struggle to even call it a rivalry.
Right.
Like the only reason it is right now is because the games with Barnes there have been pretty competitive. Like we can't argue that. I think he's 9-7 against Kentucky since he's been there.
Right.
But
that's crazy.
Like it really should be an even 8-8 split if Kentucky doesn't shit the bed in that game in 2020 where they blew an 18-point second half lead, right? When Ashton Hagens lost his shit. So, buddy, we're not the same. We're not the same program.
Let me pull this one up. Need a taco Vol. At how about them Vols? She says, I'll handle this one. Yo, at Rob Strong, 621. You punk ass bitch. You look real cute on TV pushing college players. I should drive to that shitty ass little city called Lexington and throw your ass in the dumpster behind Kroger, bitch. What a trash ass lady.
Oh my, like
she is a professional troll.
That she tries to be. Because if you saw her picture, she's not intimidating anybody. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Ty or Isaiah or Berkeley's pops. One of those dudes said she looked like a substitute teacher on Spirit Day in one of her pictures. Like I was dead, literally dead. Like,
oh my God.
Like
she kept on.
Dude. You're not intimidating anybody. Trust me. Rob Harris is not afraid of you. You're not handling anything. Let's for one. And two, if you did come down there, you probably need to be all of Vol Nation along with you, because that's what you would need.
I'll bring my 14-year-old daughter to Tennessee to whoop your ass.
Right. Like, and it's like she came back the next day and was talking all this mess to me and
Like,
all these other people that were
crazy, man.
like, I was like, talk your shit. Like, do whatever you got to do. I mean, you do you, boo. That was one of my tweets to her. Like, I ended it. You do you, boo.
She kept saying trashy shit.
Like, it was crazy how she kept going on, and like it's just a continuation of the shitty behavior we saw from Tennessee during the football season. We see it now during the basketball season. So it doesn't surprise me anymore. You know, Auburn fans are just pretty much delusional.
Right. But Tennessee
fans. I mean, like, what is there to say about Tennessee fans?
They take the cake, bro.
Like, it's crazy.
Moving right along. What you got next?
Let's go with one of our fans. Let me find a good one from her, because there was a few. Amy Rice. I don't know if you saw her tweet or not.
No.
So she was talking about Sharp, and with the when the brawl almost happened with Florida. All the players jumped up off the bench.
I did see that, yeah.
She tweeted out, all the boys except Shaden Sharp. He ain't coming back. Guy wants nothing to do with UK.
He did get up.
He did get up. And then she doubled down on that and said he was the only player who didn't get off the bench after the almost brawl between Ware and Florida. He's not coming back. Doesn't give a rip about this team or the other guys. Like, you retweeted the video of him getting up and walking with the team towards the Florida player.
Right.
Are you as blind as Kelly? Because I think we're going to bring Kelly up later. When she was going on about the dancing video.
Right.
Like,
man, the ladies been getting involved with the dumbest shit from Twitter.
Yeah, like you said like a month ago that we haven't had enough ladies on here, so let's bring them all.
Shitty hard.
I think maybe next week our entire dumbest shit will just be nothing but women. I mean, I'm sure we can find enough to fill a 5-minute segment, but like it's crazy the way these people nitpick about Shaden Sharp, because he's not like he wasn't the first one there. Well, let's see. He was at the end of the bench. He was sitting down there with CJ. I don't see her bitching about CJ Frederick not being the first one up off the bench.
Exactly.
Right. You know, he was just as slow as Sharp when he got, walking towards that scrum. So you got to, if you're going to bring that energy for Sharp, bring the same energy for CJ.
Right.
Because to me, the only difference is one was rated higher than the other.
Maybe Sharp is the voice of reason, like JD Hall. It was like,
he might be.
Like, come on, maybe, fellas,
let's calm this down. Let's don't do anything. It's gonna, So,
boo. What we got next? Oh, here's one. Drip Van Winkle. Ty Washington is a drama queen.
Well, and let's just lump in KY blonde MAGA girl with that, because it kind of goes along the same thing, because she said he's upset because his draft status can be affected by all these injuries. Look at Zion Williamson. He's barely played over the past 2 seasons due to injuries and weight issues. Both of these dudes.
What did that have to do with his draft stock?
Like,
I mean, like, he still got paid.
Ty was pissed off. Right. Like, it didn't hurt Zion's draft stock. He was what?
Exactly.
Number 1 pick. Like,
yeah. Like, what?
Ty was pissed off because he couldn't play.
Right.
It had nothing to do with hurting his draft stock or being a drama queen. Like, that tells me Drip Van Winkle, one, has never been an athlete. He's never played.
Exactly.
So he's never been pissed off because he can't play.
Yeah.
And try to do everything that he can to play. 2,
He's a Tennessee
tells me-
fan in training.
yeah. It tells me that this blonde MAGA girl, whatever her name is, doesn't really know the first thing about the draft, right? Because they're not going to. So Ty's had a couple of sprained ankles. His draft stock's not going to drop because of that.
No, exactly.
There's nothing. It's not because Zion Williamson had the foot injury in college. Did it drop his draft stock? No, it didn't.
The shoe bust.
Right. So, can we just take a break from this segment next week and not have to
We can definitely do that, man.
We've said this before. This segment it's harder and harder to do every week because we got to find stuff that's different than what we did a month ago or whatever, to have different newer things to say. But man,
let me okay.
Seeing people go in on Ty for being hurt and
it's just nuts. Let me end it with this funniness. Our friend Selena from Twitter laughed on this, and I thought it was hilarious. But an Auburn fan makes a Twitter account called "Exposing UK as a Fake Blue Blood." I just thought that was hilarious. Auburn fans, your troll game is just funny as hell, but Tennessee has you beat.
But like I said, they're delusional.
Yeah, very.
It's the handles at fake blue blood.
So bad, it's just
all time wins and winning percentage and 8 titles don't make UK a blue blood. Fake blue blood team. War damn eagle.
War damn buzzard.
There's and there's 4 or 5 blue bloods in the country.
Right.
And your history is what makes you a blue blood.
Right.
Right. So and here's the funny thing. I think it was Cody Couch tweeted this out. That profile picture for that account, he made that meme to play off of them saying they're a blue blood.
Right.
And then the dude went and if you look at the sunglasses, there's an L on all the lenses. So it's not like he did that to make something and prove a point and say, oh yeah, they absolutely are. No, he was doing that to troll on Auburn fans that were saying that they were a blue blood.
Right.
So it's
comedy.
It's funny.
It's comedy.
It's not good funny, but it's funny that they do have fans that absolutely 100% believe that what they're saying is true, that they're a blue blood, that they're the class of the SEC. Do this for 10 or 15 years, then let's talk.
Right. It's crazy. And we have so many tweets that we could keep this segment going on forever.
We could do an entire episode of just the stupid shit that we see.
Yeah.
I said something about Kelly. I'm sorry, Kelly. We'll save you for next week.
Yeah.
But it's crazy the amount of stuff that we see and is also sent to us and we're tagged in and whatever. I think somebody wanted us to talk about Kelly, but we're gonna save that. So we've already gone for almost 15 minutes on this segment as it is.
Right.
So we kind of need to be winding this shit down.
So that was the dumbest shit from Twitter this week. Man, oh man. Great episode. I got people calling me, I guess to say happy birthday and all, but LSU next.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to get Shaq on. Get Shaq on, talk about this. But yeah, man, that's
if you can pull Shaq, then I'm just gonna stop trying to book people. If you're able to pull Shaq in, then all the guests are up Jay Hayes from now on.
Hey man, you know you see my magic, man.
Shoot or shoot.
That's right. But Kentucky now 22-5 and getting ready for tournaments, man. And we're gonna get to that. Brackets. We're gonna get some people to talk about brackets and stuff. So stay tuned, man. Follow JD on Twitter at Tiffin Wildcat and follow me wherever at J Hayes KY. I'm pretty much that wherever. So yeah, and follow Religiously Kentucky Podcast on Twitter at Religiously KY. You know what we do. We have fun. We're
Yep.
optimistic and we clown on people who say dumb shit.
Our buddy's a bit pretty quiet the last week and a half or so. So
yeah. But
your
that
buddy,
is all.
your buddy,
Yeah,
your buddy.
I got a lot of them. But that is all from us, man. Have a great week, Big Blue Nation. I'm your guy Jay Hayes, and he is
JD Hall.
And we are Religiously Kentucky.
This was another episode of Religiously Kentucky.
It was great. Thanks for the hospitality.
If you like this episode, make sure to give us a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes and our opinionated take on the world of Kentucky sports. Religiously Kentucky.
Hell yeah.